My mom always said she was raising me to be independent, like that explained everything. She didn't talk much to me, not really, like words were something she had to save. Most of the time, our conversations stayed short, sometimes so short they barely felt like conversations. I stared at that message for a while, wondering if it meant pride or just acknowledgement. When I sent my monthly expenses, she always answered the same way, a simple got it every time. No questions, no comments, nothing that felt like she actually read through any of it. The first day of college, I accidentally spent 30 cents more than I planned to spend. She noticed immediately and sent me a single question mark without any other explanation. My chest tightened when I saw it, like I had done something worse than I understood. I explained right away, typing too fast, deleting, then rewriting just to make it clearer. Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't waste money. Pads just cost more this month than before. I waited for a reply, checking my phone again and again, expecting something, anything back. For the entire next month, she didn't send me a single dollar, not even a small amount. At first, I thought she was just angry and would eventually calm down like before. She had done that in the past, going quiet for days before acting like nothing happened. So I waited, checking my account every day, expecting the money to appear eventually. I went back through our messages, scrolling slowly, trying to find something I had said wrong. I looked for a word, a tone, anything that might explain why she had cut me off. But I couldn't find anything, nothing that clearly showed where I had crossed the line. After that, I stopped texting her unless it was absolutely necessary, and even then carefully. Every message felt risky, like I might trigger another silence I couldn't afford again. The night my account dropped to $2, I sat quietly on my dorm bed. The room felt smaller than usual, like the air itself was pressing in on me. I emptied my wallet onto the blanket, watching everything scatter in front of me. Coins rolled slightly before stopping, receipts crumpled, and my student ID bent at one corner. I smoothed the card with my fingers, then counted the coins slowly, one by one. When I finished, I counted them again, hoping maybe the number would somehow change. My roommate came back later and asked if I wanted to order food together with her. I said no without looking up, trying to make it sound like it didn't matter. She paused for a moment, then asked again if I was really sure about that. I nodded, still not looking at her, even though my stomach felt painfully empty. I was hungry, but saying it out loud felt harder than just ignoring it. The next morning, I left early to look for a part-time job somewhere nearby. I didn't tell my mom because there was no point in telling her anything anymore. The interview was in a tall office building downtown, right in the middle of Chicago. The elevator was empty, and I watched myself in the mirror the whole way up. I looked tired, my hair slightly out of place, so I pressed it down with my hand. When the doors opened, I hesitated for a second, thinking about turning around and leaving. I stood there longer than I should have, watching people pass by without noticing me. But I didn't. I walked in because I didn't know what else I was supposed to do. They handed me a form to fill out and asked if I had any prior experience. They asked if I could work late hours and if I was flexible with my schedule. I said yes to everything without thinking, like saying no wasn't an option anymore. Someone handed me a bottle of water while I was answering their questions nervously. My hands were damp, so I drank it quickly without really thinking about it. That was the last clear thing I remember before everything changed completely. When I woke up, I was lying on a cold concrete floor inside a warehouse. My hands were tied tightly behind my back, and I couldn't move properly at all. For a few seconds, nothing made sense, like my brain couldn't catch up to reality. Then someone walked over and threw my phone down near me without saying anything. "Call," he said, his voice calm, like this was just another normal routine for him. "Ask for money," he added, as if it was the simplest instruction in the world. My fingers shook so badly I couldn't even unlock the phone on the first try. I entered the passcode wrong twice before forcing myself to slow down and try again. The first person I thought of calling was still my mom, even though I didn't understand why. I texted her instead, my hands shaking as I typed out the message carefully. Mom, I've been kidnapped. Please help me. I don't know what else to do right now. After sending it, I stared at the screen, barely breathing as I waited for something. When I saw the typing appear, my heart jumped so fast it almost hurt. I thought she would call me immediately, or at least ask me what was going on. Instead, the typing disappeared and was replaced with a message of just 3 dots. I stared at it for a long time, trying to understand what it actually meant. I waited for another message, thinking maybe she was still typing something else. Nothing came after that. No second message, no explanation, nothing at all. He looked at the screen, then back at me, his expression changing immediately. You think this is funny? He said, grabbing my collar and pulling me up. I couldn't breathe properly as I tried to explain between broken breaths. No, she really is my mom. I'm not lying to you, I said desperately. He didn't believe me at all, not even for a second, not after seeing that message. Another man took the phone and started scrolling through all my messages with her. He read everything, stopping sometimes, then continuing like he couldn't believe it himself. I didn't answer, because I didn't know how to explain something like that out loud. They asked what the 3 dots meant, if it was some kind of signal or code. I shook my head and told them no, that she just didn't like saying much. Even as I said it, the words didn't feel right, like they didn't fully explain anything. They cursed under their breath and said they had never seen anything like that before. Then they told me to call her, not text, and this time I had to get money. So I called her, holding the phone tightly as it rang longer than I expected. When she finally answered, my hand was shaking so badly it almost slipped. Speak, she said, her voice exactly the same as it always had been before. Mom, I'm not lying. They want money. They won't let me go, I said quickly. My words came out messy and rushed, like I couldn't organize them properly anymore. She didn't ask anything, didn't question me, didn't even pause long enough to consider it. There was a short silence, then a quiet laugh on the other end of the line. Everything inside me dropped at that moment, like something finally gave way. No, I'm not, I swear, please just listen to me, I said, almost begging now. She hung up before I could finish, cutting me off like the call didn't matter. I stared at the screen again, waiting for it to light up, waiting for something. Nothing came back, no call, no message, nothing that showed she had changed her mind. The men around me started laughing, saying even my own family didn't want me anymore. I wanted to say they were wrong, that they didn't understand what they were saying. But when I opened my mouth, nothing came out, not a single word. After that, everything became unclear, like pieces of memory breaking apart. I remember being pushed, my shoulder hitting something hard against the ground. I remember voices shouting, then pain that came sharp and disappeared just as fast. Then everything went quiet, too quiet, like sound itself had been cut away completely. When I became aware again, I was standing, but I was also lying on the floor. They were talking, saying it was an accident, saying they didn't mean to kill me. I tried to reach for my phone, but my hand passed straight through it instead. That was the moment I understood something had changed in a way I couldn't undo. Later, they used my phone to call my dad, and he answered almost immediately. "Where is my daughter?" he asked, his voice breaking as he spoke to them. They told him to bring money, and he agreed without hesitation, without asking anything. For a second, I felt something tighten in my chest, something close to relief or pain. Then my mom took the phone from him and spoke in the same calm voice again. "Are you insane? She's acting, and you still believe her?" she said firmly. I stood there, listening, not knowing where to look or what to think anymore. Later, I learned they both thought I was lying, that I just wanted money from them. They kept believing that until I had been gone for an entire week without contact. until the police showed up and forced them to realize something was actually wrong. At the station, an officer asked her why she had replied with just 3 dots. I listened carefully because I had been wanting to know that answer myself. She said she thought I was making excuses, that I was exaggerating everything again. That was all she said, nothing more, nothing that could explain anything better. Later, they found me, or what was left of me after everything that had happened. I didn't go see it because I didn't want that to be how I remembered myself. I went back home with them instead, even though the house didn't feel the same anymore. The place was a mess, empty bottles scattered everywhere, the air heavy and stale. My dad kept saying sorry over and over, like repeating it could fix something broken. My mom stayed quiet at first, then suddenly started talking more than ever before. She talked about when I was little, about things she remembered and things she missed. She said she cared, that she had always cared, even if she never showed it properly. It sounded like too much, too late, like words that came after they no longer mattered. She found my notes on my phone and read through everything I had written over time. When she finished, she sat on the floor and kept saying sorry again and again. I stood there watching her, not feeling much of anything, just a quiet kind of tired. For a moment, I thought about what would have happened if she had asked one question. Just one question might have been enough to change everything that followed after. But the thought didn't stay long. It faded before I could hold on to it. After everything ended, the men were caught and punished according to the law. People said it was tragic, that it shouldn't have happened, that it went too far. I heard them, but it felt distant, like they were talking about someone else's story. The last time I went home was the day my parents decided to divorce each other. They were arguing loudly, blaming each other for everything that had happened before. I stood at the door and watched for a while, but I didn't step inside at all. That house used to mean something to me, something important that I can't explain now. Now it doesn't feel like anything, just a place that used to belong to someone else. If I get another life, I don't want to keep guessing what people really mean. I don't want to wait for replies that may never come, no matter how long I wait. Not even for one word, not even for something as small as 3 silent dots.